truck here. It's LS Swap. Doing some wiring and some AC work on it, but I tuned this truck a while back and noticed when I started it kind of had it'd start and kind of stumble a little bit and come back up. Figured I'd take care of that while I had it. Customer didn't say anything about it, but figured we'd go ahead and fix it since we got it. But I was going to show you a quick deal on some idle tuning tips and how to make the cam sound just a little bit healthier. So you can see here we're idling around 18-20 degrees timing, kind of jumping around for over and under tables, but I'm gonna show you here. You can play with these. So we're in Spark Advanced Overspeed. You can play with these settings here and make the cam sound quite a bit different. Let's open the compare file. Okay, so here's the current and here's our other one. See how we've pulled a lot of timing there. If it goes over 25 degrees over the target idle, it'll pull 14 degrees. So what that'll do is the idle will jump up, and then when it jumps up, it's going to cut timing and it's going to fall, and then we're going to fall into our underspeed table. See, before we're already starting to add timing if we're only 12 degrees, or I'm sorry, 12 RPM below our commanded. So let's look at our changed one here. We're not adding timing until we're 100 RPM under our desired idle RPM. So you want to, another thing here is your base. This timing table's kind of messed up here, but if you look at 800 RPM, we only got 13 degrees. There's a trick here. If you say you're targeting 800 RPM, what you want to do is 600 and 400. You want to kind of ramp that timing back up. So if something happens and the computer doesn't go into the idle mode, well, in idle mode it makes corrections to the spark to keep it in the idle RPM. So something happens and it doesn't do that, adding some timing over here will help save it from stumbling or dying. So just a quick tip. So what we're gonna do, I mean, you hear the truck idling now. It's at 800 RPM. So what we're gonna do, I flashed the tune in it that it had when I got here. So we're gonna cycle the key here. And we're gonna write see here, file, open. It's the modified. And then we're gonna write it. You always gotta disconnect from scanner. I always forget to do it. So we're gonna write this and then we'll start it up and see how it sounds. Alright, flashed, cycle the key. Let's go back to our scanner. You can already hear how different it is. Okay, now look at our timing now. So we're still able to get the choppy idle, but by the way we have our under and over table set and our main on our all of our timing tables set, that we still don't have a stumble or anything when it comes back down. See how it jumps up to about 26 degrees there to keep it up. But truck sounds a lot choppier now. Quick tip for y'all. Another thing is you always want to make sure all of your timing tables match. You want to copy and paste your high octane into your low octane, and you want to make sure your idle spark advance matches your high and low octane tables also. If you don't, it's gonna cause you some issues. Another thing, if say on big cam vehicles, this thing's not really that big, but on your idle airflow, let me get this to go down here. So you've got some startup airflow initial and delay. What you can do, usually I'll go in here and add 25-30% on top of what's already there, and then this delay, what this is the computer will look at that it'll add that additional airflow on top of the startup airflow, or on top of the base running airflow. So what you do here is, this is camshaft revolutions. So when you make these numbers higher, what happens is when you start the truck, it'll hold that airflow amount until the camshaft turns so many revolutions, which this one's set to 15. So after the camshaft turns 15 revolutions, it'll pull that airflow away and that engine can idle back down. You can keep around 20-15 or so. It's not real noticeable. You can tell it will hang idle for just a second or two whenever you start it, but that's not a big deal, and it helps it quite a bit on startup. But yep, just some quick tips. Took me quite a bit of time to figure out some of the startup stuff. The idle and startup's usually the hardest part of tuning a cammed vehicle. Once you get the idle and the startup good, everything else is pretty cake. But anyway, thanks for watching.